Okay, officially good morning. Welcome out to the Options Income Launchpad. Wednesday market midpoint. I'm Scott. I was about to say, so for those listening to this recording, if you're someone who listens to recordings more than attending live, last night, the Thursday open forum session, the second session, we had a great walkthrough of stops, hard stops on options. And we talked about setting stops on the option price itself. We talked about setting stops conditionally based on the stock, how they work, when they're useful, what are advantages or disadvantages of either. Walked through how to set them. Yeah, it was good. We did, and then we did another bearish search. Not a ton came up, but that's the way it kind of works sometimes. We'll keep talking about that as the market has deteriorated and our market posture score has dropped. That's the question that's come up, and my answer has been we don't need to wait until we're a negative number and then we're like, well, now we're bearish. When we see enough weeks of declining momentum, we're like, hey, this thing is now at a point where it could turn into a correction. So if we drop 4%, 5%, and then we rally 2 or 3 and then drop again, we're probably going to drop 7-8%. That's a nice dip. Very nice dip. Okay. So be on the lookout for that recording. Disclaimers, as always, education, illustrative purposes only. Nothing we do or say should be considered a recommendation to buy or sell. We're not brokers or advisors, therefore we don't give personalized investment advice. Any decisions made should be done so at your own risk. Yada, yada. Okay. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We'll look at the open. We'll take a quick look at our market posture. It's only one day in because it's a short week. Look through our trades, look at the opportunity list, any setups. Trading plan progress, you should be on section 3 this week. Section 3. This is Bitcoin if anyone's been trading it. It's not far enough back to see its high. There it is. 127. 127. Interesting. Okay. Is anyone trading in the cryptos? Like actively trading? Certainly. Yes. Okay. Very nice. Okay. Sorry, my watch list has disappeared. There we go. Let's move this a little bit. Okay, so GM ended up getting a recovery yesterday. So at one point during the day, and this is still, let's talk about this. So this is a trade that we put on, and I think we actually put it on, Friday. There you go, Friday. Yesterday, at one point, it looked like this. and breaking support, somewhere down in this area. But we have to be careful about intraday stops where if it came down and tagged it and then ended up finishing like it did, where it was actually up for the day, and then today we're up another 1%. So now it actually looks like it's starting to move along this trajectory, just a little underneath, but okay. But we don't want to get tagged, but we also want to control our risk. So it puts us into a funny place, right? Where we're like, at what point does it become a hard stop? And that's something everyone comes to on their own, is those trade management considerations. Right now, this is looking just fine. Okay. Doug said, 3 comma. Okay, so you do some automated trading, system trading, I would expect. Okay. GM. What else? Amazon entered a recovery. Okay, let's take a look. A lot of things look fairly green today. We'll go through and see what looks nice or not. Micron stalled. So this is one that, in a trade that has time on its side is okay, as long as it doesn't drop. We'll keep an eye on this. I've taken some profit on some and kept some. So I still have a good piece of this. Okay. Are there any? What else are we have? I'm trying to remember everything. DAL, Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab was, as we said, a double bounce. It seems like it's trying to bottom out here across the 100. It's continuing to move. And of course, the new trade, Delta. Delta, again, you can see here, looked solid. Today we opened down, sold towards this low, and is right back up inside. So when we put stops on is important. It's hard to leave just unattended stops, right? And so, at this point, this is still in the same position it was, down a little bit, of course, but okay. Let's see. Let's go take a look at the SPY. You can see it looks like it's trying to establish a bounce through here. And if we get a follow through on that bounce, then today should ideally be a capacity to enter new trades. It's about the same low that it's been, but that's why we're still looking to maintain uptrending stocks. So if the market itself has turned a little sideways, we still have our watch list that's chock full of uptrending stocks, market leaders that are also hopefully showing this kind of a bounce hook type pattern. So I would say this is favorable. It's early. It's only 13 minutes in, but it is certainly favorable. Okay. Let's start at the top. Oh, no. Let's take a quick peek at the VIX. That's the last one. Sorry. Other trades. What else do you have on? What's working? This is a tough one. Here. If you go empirically, this was high at 23.10. This is a high at 22.96. That's a little less. The highest body here was the close. Closed at 21.77. Highest body here was the open. Opened at 21.74. So if you're very, very precise, that is ever so slightly higher than that. And that body is like 3 ticks higher than that body. So would we consider this to this a lower high? I guess technically. And today would be confirmation of that, where we think this could be now dropping. However, it could drop down and turn, and then it's another higher. I mean, so we have to be paying attention. This is definitely something that we think is still in cautionary place. Is this tradable? Yes. Is it scorable? I don't know. We're gonna have to think about that one. See what happens throughout the rest of this week. It does look like it's confirming though, right? But last time it confirmed, it really had no follow through. It didn't give much after that. Okay. $1 billion worth of SNDK sold by WDC. Well, we're in that area. Let's take a look. WDC still holding up. And we have SNDK. I mean, they're both just sort of, churning along up in here. WDC looks pretty... I mean, it's in a consolidation in here, right? So you can kind of see But it does seem like it's trying to turn around. So I don't know. Let's look at this on the Heikin-Ashi. Yeah, it's just a little choppy. I would probably say certainly you could just if you think it's going to break out, but okay. And let's go back to Amazon. Somebody said it's trying to pop. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's trying. The buyers are now making a stab at it. You can see that the stochastic has turned. You got one day of the same thing where the stochastics turned a little bit there. What are we looking for here? So, yeah, I mean, at the very least, you're hoping it gets back up. The thought process here. This thing's coming off it's basically its lowest point. So, right? Yeah, it's at this point it's simply can it bounce? How high? Heikin-Ashi could be useful. Because if it you can see the main catalyst is sellers right now. And now we're seeing the first bit of buyer recovery. So I would say, yeah, it seems to be moving a bit. Make sure that you have a sense of what you're looking for and when you look to take some gains. Okay. Let's go to the top. Let's see what we think is moving in a way that might become tradable. I said Alcoa looked like it could be turning into something. It broke. So this was the sign of like the buyers did 2 days, they did 1 day, they did 1 day, they did 2 days, and this thing just kept on dropping. And then they got 1, 2, 3, 4 days. They got 4 days, and they got a little bit more upside action. And now the sellers are coming in, and the sellers had been pushing, but at this point, the sellers got only 3 days down, and it could be, you can see it's starting to pinch in here. It could be trying to make a turn. So we'll keep an eye on this one. It is in basic materials, which we know is a sector that's doing well. Apple. Ooh, okay. So who saw Apple yesterday and thought, that's a maybe? We did have a big buyer push. Right? We did have a big push by the buyers. Then we saw the sellers come in. Now we're here. What would this maybe look like for us? So let's just kind of draw it out. I'd probably prefer to see it finish a little bit higher up. But if that was the case, that puts us with an entry around 265. And we could come just underneath here. So you're talking 10 points of risk, right? If you look at a stop loss, just underneath. So you're basically saying there's about 10 points of risk in here. Okay, to get what? To get what? Well, I would say first target is probably there. So that's 265 to 280. So take profit target 15. That's about 2 to 1. I mean, 1.5 to 1.5 to 1. I can do math. That's about 1.5 to 1 right there. So then the thought is, well, do I think it could actually finish and get to the old high? Maybe not the old high, but maybe 285. So there's a chance for 5 more. And you'd be thinking, okay, this gives me about 20 to 10. It does meet the rules. 2 to 1. But for me, I'm thinking, no. I think that if we find things that are a little more consistent, less volatility, you can see a lot of volatility on this drop and then turn, we can get better reward to risk ratios. This one to me at barely 2 to 1 is I'm thinking to myself, we can do better. Okay. Archer Daniels is pulling back. That could be turning into a setup. AMAT, that one made the move. That was a tough one. Now here's what I'd say. It made its move, but if we don't enter until here, and we have a stop, even there, if we put our stop like right underneath that, okay, you're thinking 323. That's a 25-point stop. And right now, it's actually only gone about 42 points. So right now, it's made 2 to 1. But when we have these wide entries, so it made more than the move expected. And right now, it's getting about 2 to 1 with what the initial risk would have been. So it's tough. It worked. Did anyone take this straight? Anyone pull the trigger on this? Let me know. Okay. You guys are quiet today. You guys checking trades? How are all the trades looking? Let's go AMKR. AMKR, so new high. We just made this move. Pulling back, starting to turn. I'm keeping an eye on this one. Maybe a little early still. It's got some volatility. Here's Amazon. Amazon's working. If you're in it, if you're thinking about it, be careful, because here's the deal. If you're starting now, if I'm entering here, where's my stop? Back below at least the bodies. Where's my target? Well, if I'm going to get 2 to 1 on this, this is about 8 points. So I need at least 16. At least 16, which would be up here around 221. That gets me 2-1 right there from right now. Now, if you got in yesterday, you have a little different equation. You might be able to get out at 210, which is it's going to get stuck. That's where it got stuck last time. Obviously, it's very likely to get stuck in there again. So, okay. But Spotify, Peter, today for a day trade. Take a look at that. Yes, very cool. Let's pop over. Spotify. Ooh, okay. So Spotify's gone through a little bit of a sneaky reversal here. It was it's been in this downtrend. No breaks. Then it accelerated, and then all of a sudden with earnings, boom. First pop back down. So this to me says this is more bullish than not. Right? That's what's interesting is if someone's like, Scott, how are you saying this is bullish? Look at that downtrend. I get what you're saying. There's a downtrend. And it accelerated, right? And then we saw a little buyer smash and grab. Right? We saw a little buyer smash and grab. Okay. Let's go take a look at the intraday. Oh, yeah, look at that. That thing just took off. Well, if you got in early enough, it's probably making a little something. So be thinking about when do you take off some. And then if it drops, gives you a chance to then, re-enter. Okay. Okay, let's go. Well, let's take a quick peek at the SPY while we're here. Actually, let's go through all of them. So we are seeing bullish. We're seeing some bullishness here. Of course. Thank you for sharing it. I love when you guys will bring up trades. Love it. We went up, we pulled back, and this is our body range. This is the extremes, and you can see we've now completely busted. This one gave the first, and now it's breaking out of the opening range bullishly. So at this point, I'd be orienting. I mean, I don't think I'd be chasing this move late, but this is looking pretty good. QQQ. Very similar, breaking out to the upside. Here's the Dow. And here's the Russell. Ooh, the Russell's looking great. So very strong start on the intraday here. And let's just go through one more time. Okay, so there's Micron. Micron's starting to turn again. We'll see if this thing continues picking up. There's GM. GM is accelerating. It's actually almost caught back up with our line. So that looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, let's see where we were. Amazon APH. Nothing really there for us right now. ASX is in a consolidation. We'll see what that does. Let's see. AXP. No. See, this is the same kind of thing for me on AXP. It is hooking. We are seeing the stochastics, but it's like I have less expectations of enough bounce to produce 2-to-1 reward to risk. It's not that I don't think, oh, that doesn't look like it's going up. It does. It looks like it's hooking. It's whether or not I'm going to have the ability to build the type of trade that I need. Okay, let's see. Baba is struggling. It's in a downward consolidation. Bank of America is getting a little bounce, but there's not much there. Okay, BCS turned up. Boy, that turned fast. I wouldn't have looked for that. I didn't see that. Bud is flagging. Bud looks bullish. Okay. Yeah, it's turning out to be a pretty favorable day here today. City's made a comeback here. Caterpillar's holding up. Nothing new. CF is a possibility. Let's see. Coherent. Coherent is possibly turning here. This thing would be tough to decide what's the target that we're looking for. 15 points to the downside, maybe 16. 32 then would put me at 257. That's 2-to-1. It's tough. Yeah, it's tough right now because there's a lot of volatility that's making the reward to risks a little harder to determine. There's Cisco making a little bit of a comeback, a little bounce. Let's see. Okay. Delta. All right. So even Delta's got enough of a comeback that it's back where we at least started. Looking to see if this thing is going to move a little bit for us. That came out late. So you could have gotten into it this morning, obviously at a better price at some point. But I would say it still looks pretty much the same that it did. Okay, let's see. Oh, Dow's looking like a bullish bounce. Dow Chemical is very close. So this is one I'm thinking is setting up nicely. And I would say you've got, these are some of the moves that we've seen lately. Um, 23. That was about 5 points. 26 and a half. 32, 6 points. 30. And that one's about 4 points. 4.5. About 4. So if we got a 5-point move, we're thinking 37. On this thing. $37. Yeah. Let's just start kind of looking at this one a little bit. You can see good options. A little open interest. It's not phenomenal, but if I think this thing is getting to 37, this 35 contract is definitely what I'm going to be looking for. Okay. And let's move this. What do the letters mean? These are exchange codes. So if I click on one of these, it's going to bring up a trade grid up here. Let me make this. And so you can see that there's different Amex, Filex, so American Stock Exchange. This is the Philadelphia International Securities Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, the Boston, the NASDAQ. And so these are just kind of showing, where are the bids coming from? Some people like to dive into that. I don't care. I just want the best. So I keep the trade grid closed, and I tend not. If you want to try to route your order to a specific exchange, there's some ability for that. Yeah, good question. Okay. Let's keep going. The right click this and analyze a buy. We're thinking 37-ish to the upside. And we're thinking... Yeah, I don't want to have to catch these, but usually I start around like below, let's say 31.25. Okay. Yeah, I'm out a week already. Yeah, let's keep an eye on this one. Let's keep an eye on this one. See if we think this thing has turned up enough to give it the go-ahead. Ford. No. Consolidating. GE. Overextended. Gold is trying to move again. Yeah, gold is trying to move. GM looks great today. Google, a little iffy. Okay.
This is a reminder.
Oh, I've got my reminder. Okay. Goldman Sachs. Some of the financials are starting to pick up. No on Home Depot. HL. IBM too. There's another one. It's down, and it looks like it could maybe want to try to turn. However, I would say that we're really seeing the sellers in control at this point. There's nothing there for us to want to try to latch onto. Intel maybe setting up to bounce off the 50. IBZ. Yeah, we're seeing some small cap strength right now for sure. Okay. Lumentum. Overextended. Lam Research. Yes, let's see. MasterCard trying to turn around a little bit. Meta still at the bottom. Monster. Well, that one's... Problem with that one, it does have a little bit of a lack of liquidity. Morgan. Okay. Let's see. Nothing in Microsoft yet. And ooh, look at that. If you who still has some of their Micron, let me know. That's making a recovery move. Looks pretty good. Okay. You guys are quiet. I don't hear anyone claiming that one. Did you pull some out already, or did you not take the trade? Netflix, no. NU. Remember that Micron trade is time is on our side with that trade. Good analyst reviews got out a little while back. Okay, fair. Okay, still holding? All right. Very nice. Palantir's trying to make a little bit of a turnaround. QQQ, no. Maybe it's trying to get a little back here. RKLB, who asked about that one earlier. Rocket Lab's trying to catch that bounce and get a little bit more movement. Interesting. Okay. Ross Stores. Yeah, made a good move. RTX looks like it's still trying to make a little bit of an upward movement. Silver, no. SanDisk, maybe setting up for a hiccup after this bounce. NVIDIA. So the NVIDIA trade, yes, it looks like it could be trying to bounce. I don't know how did I miss that one. A little bit of a bounce. And it's got earnings. So I actually feel like there could be a little bit of an upswing on this. A little bit of a bounce upon this. It's trying. The stochastics is trying to turn. The problem is what would we look for? I mean, we could grab one of these old ones. Let's grab one of these. It gets you a little something. Maybe a 200 target. Okay. STRC 10% yield. Oh, is that a REIT? Oops, that's the wrong symbol. STRC. Strategy PFD. Well, I'll tell you, and you can see it has like these weird dips. Almost, is this something to do with MSTR? Yeah, I don't know. It's got something interesting in there. Let's see. Yeah, it's an interesting looking stock for sure. Big Bitcoin buyer. Got it. Got it. Okay. SPY. Oh, we're doing all right this morning. Here's SPY. Let's take a quick peek at the Spotify trade. The intraday trade. And see where we ended up. There you go. So it kept on running up and then kind of turned. Now what? Now it could be flagging for another move. Okay. Interesting. Anything else setting up for us now is the question. STX, that's a maybe, actually. It's got some momentum and it's expensive stock. SYY, yeah, possibly. Here's TJX. Tesla. Tesla's trying to turn around here. I think it's going through a sneaky reversal. If you're a Tesla trader, that one could be trying to make an upside swing. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, looks like it's maybe going to break its flag. That's another one I'll keep an eye on because that could make a run. We'll come to that. We'll come back to that for a second here. Okay. Vail. It's got earnings. It just had earnings. Let's see. Viking Cruises still kind of moving. VOD. WDC. And lastly, Walmart. Okay. Walmart. It's got earnings, but could be setting up for a trade. Okay. Taiwan Semiconductor. This one. Let's actually change this to the poll. Then let's duplicate this. Move it over. Bring it down. I like the way that looks. That gives about 50 points. 40 points. 40 and change. Yeah, I would say 40. And stop-wise, 8 to 10. Yeah, this one could be on the docket today. So let's keep an eye on this. Let's see if this holds up. Our other trades are looking quite strong today. We're getting a great move out of Micron, reinvigorating. GM is looking good. That one's moving. And lastly, our Delta has now turned positive, so that looks good. There we go. All right. Well, yeah, I would say there's a good chance we do see an alert today. It's good to see everybody. Nice bullish day. The week continues well. See you guys tomorrow. As always, happy trading.